So Molly, the one that we want to get to is the chemical company that we do business with, because I think they had a really cool display in the sense that chemical company, and they really found a way, we sort of found a way to go outside the box with it, right? And they did not look at all like a chemical company, I would say, on the show floor. So just tell me a little bit. I know there was like a mixing station, DJ. So it was like this idea of playing on mixing like a DJ does, but also mixing with chemicals to create compounds and prototypes, right?
Correct. Yeah. Yep. No, you hit it right there. So basically they wanted it to be like a party feel, right? So like
Hmm.
neon sign, they had a neon sign on the backdrop, right? That was kind of like this brick backdrop with a neon sign, had people come in and basically you could see on the wall graphics, it was like push the button, play the music, feel the prototypes, right? And then there was
Yep.
neon signs. So it's already catching your eye. So you're like, okay, well, what does this
Yeah.
mean? So then you walked up to the booth and then there was a center station that had 4 color buttons on it. And that represented each 4 different right areas of their business.
Yep.
And you'd come up, you push the button, and then there was like 4 sections of like towers in it. And so then the one tower would light up the specific color. And it was like red, blue, green, and yellow that we had. So then as your people are walking by, you're touching this button, the one it's lighting up, and then it's not lighting up anymore. And that associates the color with the prototype. And then also you were wearing headsets with it when you came up to engage. And then the mixing station where the DJ was playing
Yep.
was putting a silent disco in your ear as well,
Yeah.
associated with the different genre of music that they put with this specific pillar. So there's a lot going on, and the senses are heightened. You're touching this, you're feeling this, you're pushing the color, the neon, you're listening to the specific music, and then you're walking through what the product
Mhm.
is and how it relates back to the color, and then actually the genre of music as well. So
I love that. I mean, that booth, if I recall, it just had such a cool vibe to it. It had such a different vibe. And I think what it's really doing is telling a story, right? Them as a chemical company, they are trying to tell a story creatively about their chemicals, about, right, their
yeah.
prototypes, their, the way they mix them and the comp. Like, there's so much there. Obviously, you could geek out and go that route. I'm not going to, because I don't know enough about chemicals, but no, those are the ideas that work. Those are the ideas that grab people. Because obviously the people that are coming up, they understand these products. They understand the industry. They understand all of that. So now you're mixing in music, you're mixing in lighting, you're mixing in a certain type of engagement. So that one was really a fun one to work on. When we were talking about doing this, I was thinking to myself, right? I was thinking like, okay, if I'm an event marketer, I'm working at a company and I'm tasked with designing a trade show booth with a company like ours or somebody, you know, have a decent budget. What am I trying to do? What am I trying to accomplish? And the more that I think about it, it ties back to what I said earlier. I think it is, in a way, it's telling a story, you know, and people remember stories and people remember experiences. I'm just going to remember your trade show booth just for remembering your trade show booth, right? So, how can you come up with a story? How can you deliver an experience? So, like, I was just thinking, like, I was just looking around my house a little bit. I'm thinking to myself, like, well, what's an example of a product or a service I use or something that I could think about? Like, how would I think through this? And I have a speaker. It's a company called Bang and Olufsen that makes speakers. And so I started thinking to myself, like, okay, like, as a user of this speaker, I love it. I use it all the time. And it has this really cool feature where it has sound modes to it. So it's like if if you're listening to, like, I don't know, hip hop music or EDM music, it has like a party style sound mode and the music just sounds incredible. If I'm listening to a podcast, it has a speech mode. So literally it amplifies the speech versus all the other noise. So you can just hear the conversation so much better. It has an ambient mode. It has an optimal mode, which has, like, it actually decides what it's listening to, right? It's almost like an optimizer for what you're listening to. But I just thought to myself, like, okay, like, what a cool feature. And if you were selling it to somebody like myself, like, I almost got the speaker because of it. So if I was at a trade show and they were doing it and they had those speakers out, how could you come up with a theme? And I think you could tie it into somebody as a consumer there. I use the speaker for various things. It's not just something I listen on, right? So, like, there's a lot of elements to me. I listen to podcasts, I listen to hip hop, I listen to country music, I listen to all these different things. So, like, I would think of a theme somewhere around, like, there's a lot of different versions of you. So we've created the speaker with these different options, versions, like tying it in that way, right? So you're taking a value proposition of the speaker. Part of the value proposition is the fact that no matter what you're listening to, you can find you can find a listening mode that essentially makes the experience better. So that would be something, as an example. I'm not saying that's exactly what you'd go for, because these are high-end speakers. There's a luxury element to it. There's things that you could run off of as well. But that to me, when we're telling you to come up with themes, ideas, storytelling, tell that story, but tell it in a creative way. Tie it back to your audience, tie it back to your customer. So I just kind of want to pull a real life element of something. And that was something that I found that I thought I kind of think through.
No, I like that. That's like on the fly.
Yeah, no, I just thought about it because I was like, how do you do this? I think that's the
Yeah.
tough thing. I mean, people see all these really cool trade show booths and all these, $1 million budgets. I mean, these are huge companies that put out these massive exhibits and they have so much experiential thought and power behind it. But not your average exhibitor does not have those resources. They don't have that budget. They don't have that size exhibit space to put on